Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
It's a Wednesday, correct? It is.
Yeah.
I'm being told yes
Wednesday
by Justin Haven, so I feel like I trust his ability to look at the calendar and assess
research
the
confirms.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Don't ask
It
me.
is, in fact, Wednesday. It is our middle of the week Baseball is Dead podcast. We're very excited that you've chosen us for your baseball discussion, which there will be plenty of baseball discussion on this particular podcast. One discussion, which is, dare I say, salacious. There's a salacious story. It's
really,
there's some sexual tension, I fear. Is
oh no. Oh
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Do you disagree?
I mean, it feels like there's going. You know what's great is I believe one of the headlines is, or one of the quotes is, "I'm not really going to go back and forth with this."
Yeah.
And it's like, well,
there's a lot of hard to get going on, and a little like
kind of.
Yeah. I mean, he said I don't want to go back and forth on this, but then he kind of went back and forth on it. So,
you know, some
I don't
him,
know. It's
some
up to you, the viewer, you the listener, to decide. But yeah, I think it's definitely worth a discussion about. And I think it's such a meaty topic that I got to talk about underdog before we can even get into this story, because there's a lot of meat on that bone per se, as it pertains to this love triangle.
And polar bears love meat, Jared.
Oh yes, they do, and there's a lot of meat on his bone as well. With the underdog tie-in, he was one of my picks yesterday. The polar bear,
Pedro.
Yeah, he got me covered.
Pedro
Yeah, it was
Alonso.
another win yesterday, Dallas. I don't know if you're taking my picks, but you'd be a very wealthy man if you did. I know that like you're a prideful guy. You're like, oh, like I know baseball too. Like your picks never hit, but like mine do. So if you were to tail me,
your cute fuking two-leggers, your cute bipeds. That's what I'm gonna call them.
It was three.
Old
Kutch
Jerry,
didn't play.
old Jerry biped.
No. They're try picks, and
I got two
Kutch
guys
didn't
that
play.
are gonna hit the ball. I got two guys that will hit the ball.
No. Jayhay, back me up. I picked Kutch and he didn't play.
That is confirmed. Yep.
Yeah, Jake, booked Eric Shelton. We got to talk about that because I think he would have accumulated 2 total bases, which is the total base king. That's what they're calling me in the streets. They're like, oh, there he goes, the total base king, which is perfect because someone today or last night, it was last night. We were doing the live stream and someone in the chat was like, you keep saying we're going to hunt homers, but what day are we hunting homers? That day is Friday. But if I'm the total base king, I can't do higher 0.5 home runs for guys. So what I will be doing, however, is higher 3.5 total bases for guys. So that opens the door. Like we're still hunting homers. So like last night we did 1.5 total bases for Pedro Alonso and he homered. So I'm going to do 3.5 total bases. We're hunting homers, but we will allow for 2 doubles if that's how we get there. Or like Alex Bregman, just like couple homers, a double, single. We're all over the place. We'll get total bases however we can get them, Dallas.
I'm with it. I'm glad to have that clarification because I didn't think Jerry tuberculosis was going to catch on, but Jerry total bases, Jerry TB is something that I think is probably workable. So
people are clamoring for it.
I was going to make that exact joke. I swear to God, I was going to do a tuberculosis bit.
Yeah. If you could keep coughing up some W's, the folks would appreciate that from Jerry tuberculosis.
No doubt. I got you covered. MLB season's here. Underdog Fantasy wants to make it a lot more interesting. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. Playing their pick'em game is as simple as selecting higher or lower on player stats like strikeouts, total bases, home runs, and so much more. Make entries of all baseball, or you can mix and match across your other favorite sports. You can win up to 100 times your money, and it's a ton of fun. My picks for today are not yet out. They're not out yet.
No, but they are going to be up in a matter of seconds, and it's going to be exactly what you asked for. Yep. And it's a winning trio, I feel like. I'm just going to say that.
It is. Yeah.
3 again.
Oh, 3 again. When the fuck do you do 5 picks on the same ticket?
The day before?
No, you did 5.
4.
Is that 5?
Well, it's not 5. You've never even thought about a 5-legger. You kidding me?
Because I'm out here trying to win. I'm
'Cause
not out here. I'm not out here trying to be like,
we're shooting for the fucking stars, bud. We're shooting for the fucking stars.
But
right?
here's the difference between me and you. You may make more picks, but you lose all the time.
No,
I'll go out there and make 3 picks and collect dubs like it's nobody's business.
But ultimately, if I can win 1 pick and the dub total collected is more than the 3.
Yeah. Well, here's to you getting that first win of the season. I'm already in the multiples.
I needed Luzardo. That's all I needed. Luzardo.
Oh, so you lost. So you lost. So you lost. Yeah. I'm drowning in money. I actually just donated $250,000 to a charity that I don't even know what they do. Just because I'm just like, I don't know. What am I supposed to do with all this money?
Bobby Miller, Bryce Miller, and Mr. Fott.
Oh, I thought you were going to do a little Miller bit.
Oh, no.
No.
I mean, that'd be great. I don't know that Mason is an option. That would be absolutely sexual.
I'm sure he has to be.
I mean, really? It would just be the Miller time.
Yeah, you should do that.
We're playing the White Sox, so I don't, if I see him.
Is that a bad thing or?
No, not at all. I just,
I can attest that the White Sox are a very good team.
I didn't see that yesterday in yesterday's game.
Didn't I look up at one point last night? And it was like 9-6. Like it was a safe situation at one point. What was the final score last night?
No, it was fucking 3, 10-3, 12-3, whatever.
Oh, all right, maybe not. Anyways, make sure you sign up with the promo code Jared. That's JARED to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits and a special pick on Underdog. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code Jared. I did want to bring this up, Dallas, before we get into our salacious love triangle story here.
Please do.
We did a live stream last night with playback, where you can watch the game and us at the same time. And that's not the focal point. There's 2 focal points. Number 1, Jake and Emond came over early yesterday before the stream, and they were down in the Rocket Performance Center. And I'm not going to say it, but like Jake was saying that I was moving a ton of weight on the leg press. Like I think I was just minding my own business. We were all doing our own separate workouts, but then I think Jake looked over at me on the leg press. He thought that it was like a prank. He was like, where's the machine that's moving all that weight, making it look like you're doing it with your legs? And I was like, Jake, this is just a leg press. So I don't know. Jake, if you wanted to say anything, I don't want to put you on the spot, but.
Well, at one point I ran over because I thought the weights were going to crush you. I was like, oh, this guy needs a spot, but you just kept pumping those weights. So everything was all good.
Just sets of 8, just fucking just putting it up with my quads, And
there's the other point, there's some pumping going on. All right.
With my quads.
Yeah. And the other point too, Dallas. And again,
so you got you got your feet low on the press. If we're doing this with quads here, is that what you got? Your feet low on the press. You got to get those feet.
I'm more like a neutral. I'm more of a neutral. Yeah. I'm trying to get the quads. I'm trying to get the glutes.
That's what I'm saying. You got to get the feet higher. Get the feet higher. Get the cheeks involved.
I know, dude. I know how it works. And the other thing too that someone was pointing out in the chat that I wanted you to make sure that you heard it, because I mean, again, this is something that someone was saying in the chat. We had Big Bill in the house from AEW, who is 6'9". I want to say, what does he weigh? He's a massive human being. Big Bill. Let's see.
Off the top of your head, what are you thinking?
260.
That's upon just a very brief viewing of it. That's what I had him at.
275. Yeah, he's listed at 6'10", 275.
6'10"? That's
6'10".
That's a whole human. That is
he's a large person. Yeah, 6'10", 275. And we were sitting next to each other on the couch. And again, this is just like what the people were saying. It's not anything that I was saying, but people were like, because you're sitting down next to each other, you're basically just as wide as each other. Like you don't look out of place sitting next to the 6'10", 275 guy. So more or less what people were saying was, I think Jared has like the upper body of someone that's 275, but he just doesn't have like the legs. It's really, that's really all it is.
You've got the upper half of a wrestler, but the lower half of a marionette. Is that the problem? It looks like. Do you know what a marionette
You're like an
is?
inverse centaur.
Kinda.
A marionette is the puppet that has strings on top, right? So
okay.
And the leg is
sure.
So you probably look like you were just sitting on his lap.
No. If you look at the pictures, we look like we could be related. Yeah, I would say if you measured us from shoulder to shoulder going across,
marriage,
very similar width. Like we have the same girth. But again, that's what the chat was saying. I haven't gone back. I haven't gone back and looked at the tape to be able to confirm if that take is accurate, but I would imagine that it is.
I mean, off the top of my head, he's roughly a foot taller than you. I mean, more than a foot.
No, he's a foot taller than me. Yeah.
More than a foot taller. So
he's a foot taller than me. He's about 11 inches taller than me.
Yeah. So I figure if you're like, 12 to 14 inches taller than somebody, the width I mean, you could get there.
Similar width. Yeah. Jayhay, look at a video on my Instagram from last night's live stream. Tell me we don't have the same width from shoulder to shoulder.
I'm Googling what I think would be an appropriate image for what we're talking about here in terms of.
Why are you Googling it when you can just look at us side by side in real life? Why are you looking for an angle that's not there?
Well, more like this reverse centaur thing that I was talking about where.
Yeah, but that's not what we were talking about. We were talking about the live stream that we did last night on Playback where we were live streaming all the baseball games.
I'd like to see the centaur.
Yeah, check out my Instagram. My Instagram account has a picture / video of us sitting next to each other side by side. And you wouldn't believe the number of people that were like, are these guys like, which one is the professional wrestler? Some people were saying that. Some people were like, which one's the guy that's in AEW?
They did say that? Who said that?
Mm-hmm.
Was it somebody? All right, I just sent what I think is the best example to our text thread. If you want to check that out real fast.
Okay.
Is that what we're talking about?
No. No.
Oh shit. A distended belly. How many? What are you on, litter 4?
Yeah. So, anyways,
hey Jared, your upper areola is called. They want to invite your lower areolas to the party upstairs.
Well, that's not a picture of me. That's a sculpture. So I don't know why you're laughing.
Oh shit! At me. Hold on. Are you serious?
Yeah, that's not actually me. So.
Oh, it's not. How about that? The fucking resemblance, though.
Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah. But yeah, if you want to check out my Instagram, you can see the side by side of me next to a 6'10", 275 pound professional wrestler. And the comparisons may shock you. They may shock you.
I'm seeing this here. I you know what I am going to give you credit on?
What's that?
You guys are pretty close in upper body, and then the size of your legs are.
All right, we can just we could have just left it right there at the beginning part.
His legs are like twice the size.
Yeah, but he's a professional wrestler, and I'm a podcaster.
Right.
So we could have just left it right at hey, upper body, pretty similar, huh?
Jake, edit that second part out.
Yeah. Cut that. Cut that part.
Keep it
in. No. I bet Juan Soto wishes he could keep it in.
Oh, he's trying to keep it in.
He's doing everything that he can to rekindle the flame when I don't think he quite understands how this works. You signed a 14? 15? 16?
15.
Well, how 15? How long is the deal, Jayhay?
I thought it was 15, but now you have 15? Me guessing. Yeah.
That's 15.
I think Vladdy's 14. Soto's 15. I know it's 265, 765, but
Vladdy's 15 too.
No, he's 14.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, 15, 765.
Okay. So for the next decade and a half, Juan Soto has committed, at least on paper, to the New York Mets. But spiritually, mentally, emotionally,
his heart.
It feels like, all these Yankee fans that were saying he wishes he's still with the Yankee. It's like a lot of people were saying you guys are coping. This is pathetic that you guys think. Not that I was one of those people, but I left my opinion. I was waiting to form my opinion on this. I needed more information. I think I have enough information. I think Juan Soto wishes he was still in the Yankees. I think we're there, but I don't feel bad for him because all right, the Mets made the best offer. Sure, they offered him the most money, but the Yankees were still at 700 plus, were they not? So like $700 fucking million, and you knew that you had a career year hitting in front of Aaron Judge. I think was that the only time he hit 40 home runs was last year? Yes. Okay. And it was his highest wins above replacement. You had your best year, career year, hitting in the same lineup as Aaron Judge. You said you picked the Mets because you wanted a chance to win. I mean, you just were in the World Series with the Yankees and you just had a career year. The other thing is, what a slap in the face. All this stuff about, it just feels different when you have Aaron Judge protecting you in the lineup. Pete Alonso has like a fucking 1200 OPS. And not only that, but it was revealed recently that Juan Soto was the guy that went to Steve Cohen and said, you need to bring back Pete Alonso because I need protection in the lineup here. So he went and Juan Soto re-signed Pete Alonso.
Sure.
And he's more than holding up his end of the bargain. His OPS literally is like 14, whatever the fuck it is. It's very high. And he's protecting you in the lineup, and you're saying it just feels different. Like, I don't have Aaron Judge protecting me in the lineup. What do you mean? You've got Pete Alonso, who you chose, and he is certainly doing like he's holding up his end of the bargain.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody is going to classify Pete Alonso and Aaron Judge as the same type of hitter. I mean, as far as power, looming power threat, Jared, more than fair to say. Than fair to say. Same hitter? No. And the reason that it's different is because the man who is widely regarded as the best hitter in baseball right now, in Juan Soto, identified Aaron Judge as exactly that. His words. I
don't know that many people would call Juan Soto the best hitter in baseball, though.
Oh, I think that they. I
think they would say that about Judge or Ohtani.
With when you combine his plate discipline, like that's just that factors into your ability to hit at the plate. And I guess,
but like they're not paying him $765 to walk.
No, but they're paying him $765 to separate balls from strikes at a rate greater than everybody else, which would then stand the reason he's giving himself a chance to hit the baseball more consistently by virtue of his strike zone assessment and feel.
Justin Havens, give me a pie chart. If you were to say, if I said right now, we polled 10,000 MLB fans and asked them who the best hitter in baseball was, and we made sure that it was evenly distributed throughout all 30 markets so that there's no, East Coast, West Coast, or New York bias. How do you think that pie chart fills out?
I mean, I think most people would answer Aaron Judge because they'd interpret the question in the present and in a certain way. But I'm going to do a cop-out a little bit and draw a distinction between what the two of you are saying. Dallas is saying that a lot of people in the game, particularly, would call Juan Soto, and players would call Juan Soto the best hitter. Let's say the best professional hitter. Let's say the best, because that's really what we're talking about here.
Yes.
Aaron Judge is the best offensive player in baseball right now. He is the best position player in baseball, setting aside Shohei Ohtani for a second. Those to me are two different things because nobody's going to take away that Aaron Judge is currently the most productive current player who plays offense in Major League Baseball, the most dominant offensive force. But I think in terms of hitting technicality, hitting coverage and stuff like that, I think most people would say that Juan Soto might be the best example of that in the game. But to me, Jared, one of the things that you said that he chose Pete Alonso, I'm going to give him even less grace than that because you know what? He actually didn't choose Pete Alonso. He chose a Mets team that didn't even have Pete Alonso back at the time that he signed. So if he was concerned about
he went to Steve Cohen and said you need to re-sign this guy. So
I'm sorry,
that's what I mean.
For sure. Yeah, you're right. But when he signed at the time, this idea of protection in the lineup was
Mark Vientos.
Yeah, it was Mark Vientos, Brandon Nimmo, like Francisco Lindor, that grouping of players, depending on how you're going to order them. Like, so, nobody feels badly for Juan Soto here. I do think it is at least a little bit interesting to dissect the idea that Pete Alonso couldn't be hitting any more scorching than he is right now, right? And what Juan Soto is saying about, like, if you actually look at what he's saying past the headline stuff about Judge, is that he's seeing fewer pitches in the zone, like all that sort of stuff. And that is indisputably true in a way that's not just a small sample size quirk or even a fractional difference. Like, he's down like among the top 25 rates in Major League Baseball for qualified batters in terms of pitches in the zone. His overall rate of pitches in the zone is one of the lowest in baseball right now. So, like, he is legitimately, and it would be a career low for him. So from his perspective, it's the seventh lowest, tied for sixth lowest rate of pitches in the zone in Major League Baseball right now, Juan Soto. So, like, there is something to what he's saying, and that to me,
it's a protection power.
Right. And it's also like a conversation about like how nuanced or fluid the conversation of protection is in the lineup, because you would think that somebody hitting like Pete Alonso would generate different numbers for Juan Soto while Pete Alonso is hitting like this, but that's not how it plays out now. And I don't think typically how it plays out either.
No, because he's just Pete Alonso. When you're going through your lineup and you're going through how you're going to attack a team, you identify your power threats, right? These are the guys that you just can't make those mistakes to. But there are times where that same individual is also a guy you can expand on, is also a guy you might be able to treat as an 0-2 approach early. What does that mean? That means I can go up and throw my first pitch bastard slider down and away, and I'm probably going to get a result, meaning I'm going to get an aggressive take that shows me something. I may even get action here because of the looming power threat. He's probably hunting fastballs. So if there's somebody on base and he's at the plate, he's looking for a first pitch fastball to get off on. I know this. He's no longer that same threat. He doesn't represent that same hurdle I have to clear if I've got an Aaron Judge that I have to factor in. That's why Juan Soto said what he said. I had the best hitter in baseball hitting behind me, getting more attacked and more pitches in the strike zone, less intentional walks and things like that. I was pitched differently last year. And the only person, if you don't want to believe what I'm telling you, if you don't want to believe Jayhay's numbers that support what we're telling you, why would you just not listen to the dude who's actually being pitched that way? That's probably a pretty good source.
I guess, but at the same time, like, all right, so there's two sides to this. I appreciate Juan Soto's honesty. I do.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad for him because ultimately he made the choice to go to the Mets. But then the second thing that I look at here is who the fuck is protecting Aaron Judge? Cody Bellinger? Do you hear him complaining about the lineup protection that he has? No, he just goes out there and he has an OPS over 1,000 and he hits fucking 60 home runs every year. And it doesn't matter who's hitting behind him. It's the Barry Bonds mentality. I might see one good pitch to hit all series, but if I get it, I'm going to put it in the seats. And he does.
You know what this could kind of signify if you want to start to like read the tea leaves, read the entrails, if you will. This could be the difference between a guy who is comfortable speaking outwardly about the things he doesn't have and the reasons that he's not successful. And that's because there's expectation that comes along with him in this new contract. And he's trying to say, or I don't want to say lay a foundation for, but just get folks to understand, hey, things are different for me. So like what you were expecting or what you could expect, understand that things are different. I am literally being taken out of position to perform the way that you may expect me to perform. And here's why. And whether you agree with that or not, the fact that he has been vocal and he has said that is something to think about. And to your point, Jared, you don't hear those conversations. You don't hear that coming from Aaron Judge's corner. Aaron Judge is not, I don't want to say, undermining or demeaning the guys who hit behind him or in front of him.
I've never heard Aaron Judge complain about anything. No. Anything. Ever.
No, and that's who he is, right? That's the image. Captain. That's probably who, he is most of the time, image aside. But yeah, I think I mean, but the other piece of context with Juan Soto specifically, I think, is that, and I don't know if he's ultimately very sensitive to this, but it was definitely something that existed in Washington, was that he was like, there was a media, like, kind of not attack, but like a commentary on him that he was too willing to take the walk instead of like sometimes drive in the run, right? Like almost like a Joey Votto redux conversation. Like that did exist at some level. So I do wonder, like, I know it's only 17 games, 74 plate appearances, but there's probably just some like honest frustration that's going on with Juan Soto too, where like he looks at his stat line and he knows like right now it's more driven by getting on base and kind of taking what they're giving me based on all of the numbers that we just outlined before than it is about driving. He has 7 RBI, right? He has a .467 slugging percentage, 3 homers, 7 total extra base hits. Like those are not numbers that line up with what he did last year. So, or really in any previous full season. So, you know, I just think like to the point about appreciating the candor, I do appreciate the candor from Aaron Judge's perspective though. Like this has to be a little, and it, you know, his role in the game, Soto's role in the game, maybe it's inevitable, but like, this has to be a little fatiguing for Judge too, I would think, because this is like the third time I want to say since Soto left for the Mets that like Judge has been sort of brought into a conversation about Juan Soto leaving or Juan Soto saying something after having left. And Judge has got to be sitting there being like, we went to the World Series last year. You are acknowledging me as what I am, right? Which is the most potent offensive force in the game. And you still decided to leave. And that is ultimately your choice. But like, I'm still here and I have to deal with kind of like the fallout of that. And the fallout of that is that I don't have one of the 5 greatest players in the game, one of the 3 greatest players, whatever you think Juan Soto is, as my running mate anymore. And you continue to kind of complain or just be candid or whatever we want to call it. That would be annoying if I'm Aaron Judge. Like that he's showing restraint in some of these responses, I do think is to his credit.
Always. I mean, he's always
you don't want to have to
professional entertain. And I also, for any context, I don't want to just assume that people have heard or read these comments. But so it started with Soto saying, it's definitely different. I had the best hitter in baseball hitting behind me. I was getting more attacked and more pitches in the strike zone, less intentional walks and things like that. I was pitched differently last year. And then Judge was asked about it and he didn't hear the comments, probably because he's just like, I don't fucking care anymore, dude. He's not here. But Judge said, I'm not really going to go back and forth with this. He's got probably one of the best hitters in the game behind him right now and what Pete Alonso is doing. It's been fun to watch. He's hitting close to 400. He's driving the ball over the field, driving guys in. So they're going to be good. And he also said, you can look at what I did last April as an example of how he just needs to keep being himself and he'll be good. Because Judge obviously started off super slow in April of last year.
But to the point,
Soto was just fine.
But to the point though, what you can say there is, so Soto capitalized on just the presence. So Judge's production may have been slight, but his presence was still ever present. And that means that you're being attacked a certain way. Soto capitalized.
So let me ask you guys this question. I need you to method act for me. If you're a Mets fan, are you a little annoyed that Soto won't shut up about his time with the Yankees and it just feels like maybe he regrets the decision?
If I'm a Mets fan, I'm probably wondering, hey, why are we living in the past? Why is our brain still there? Like, you should be full force, fully committed, fully invested in what we are doing, in what we have going on. The fact that you are even referencing a time and place before this at this point in time right now is upsetting. I want you to care way more about what we've got going on right now than you do about what used to be. Like, don't do that. Step here. Step into the future. That's, if I'm a Mets fan, I'm probably thinking somewhere along those lines.
I also do feel like this is an inevitable, and we haven't really had this, which is part of what makes this so interesting and probably a story that's going to keep giving whether we want it or not. We've never seen a guy leave the Yankees for the Mets, and we've never really seen, at least not recently, like two legitimately generational players, one of whom used to play they used to play together, now across town in New York City in the primes of their careers, while both teams are very, very relevant. Like this is kind of what it's all about when it comes to like having high profile Mets and Yankees teams with superstars fronting both of them.
Like outside of, no, it's a great point, Jay. And I was just thinking about this as you started to say this. Outside of the obvious surrounding of circumstance, because you imagine Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle after that year getting split up and one of those guys going across, right? Like I'm not putting Roger Maris in the same category as a Juan Soto or Aaron Judge, but as far as the dynamic of those two as teammates in that moment and what was going on, then to have one of those dudes go across the street and have these conversations and have their previous success, strongly linked to the existence of the other guy. And it's like, well, aren't you with us now?
Well, it also reminds me, like, not to make it about what I like, but I remember the research that I did on the season that Aaron Judge was having and that sort of stuff while it was happening last year for the video essays. And part of that ended up being that sometimes I feel like I even forget that Aaron Judge and Juan Soto weren't a great offensive duo. They weren't the best that we've seen in 5 years. Like, you could make a credible argument that last season, they were as productive as two players have been on the same team in certainly our lifetimes and maybe many decades beyond that. Like, that's how singularly special that combination was. And yeah, leaving the Yankees for the Mets is unusual, but doing that and breaking up how good those two players were and how good they projected to be over the next half decade, I mean, it really is unprecedented in baseball history. And again, this isn't ragging on Juan Soto, but it is a monumental situation that continues to like reverberate, I think. And these comments are, kind of minor little shockwaves of that, I think.
I think the other thing too, this element about, the unprecedented nature of Soto choosing the Mets over the Yankees, I would understand it far more if the Mets went to, originally we were like, is it going to be 500? Like, are they going to give him 500 million? And him getting 765, I would understand it far more if the Yankees were like, we budgeted like 500, maybe 550, and they went to 765 to get this thing done. Like, you can have them. But the Yankees went to 700.
700.
If you're Juan Soto, like, you're just like, all right, dude, like, once you get into the 700, because before, I remember growing up,
Jared,
and like the guys that would leave your favorite team in free agency for $60 million instead of $45 million. You're like, we're talking about the difference of $15 million. Like, it's, like, how much money do you really need? But when you are talking $700 million, I kind of revert back to, I think when the older line of thinking, like, there's a big difference between 60 million and 45 million. Like, there's a big difference. Huge. But when you're talking 700 million and 765 million, $700 million, I think you're good. I think you're okay.
It's why I boil it. It's why I boil it down to the clothing allowance, man. Like, is that how important the clothing allowance was for everybody else in the Soto contingency? Like, what was the breaking point? What was the scale tipper? And if it's just the 65 million, then that is what it is. And
it can't be that other bullshit. Like, it can't be like, oh, like, my family got kicked out of the clubhouse. Like, no one's family is allowed in the Yankees clubhouse. That can't be a factor. And the fact, like, they didn't include a suite for my family. It's like, brother, you can afford 90 suites if you want. $765 million.
But Jared, if that stuff is being given out, if those requests are being met somewhere else, and you're continuing to have the conversation, you almost let's ask this question. Did Juan Soto paint himself into a corner that he would have loved to have gotten out of? Like,
what do you mean?
Okay, so don't give me the suite. Don't give me the clothing allowance. Don't give me those things. And now does the deal look much more digestible for him, taking that $65 million off the table for the Yankees? Because I think if you're starting to go down the list of things that make this deal different, that create the inequality, the $65 million is one of them. But these other things, you have to give credence to their importance. You can't.
I just remember,
that he doesn't value it.
It's not so much what can I buy with 765 that I can't buy with 700. Just going back to the days of Pedro Martinez, it's not about, I can buy something with 80 million and not like 90 million. Like, what's the difference? It's a respect thing to them. That's it. Like 100%. When you talk about like the Latin players, the Dominican born players, it's not about I have enough with 700. I don't need any more than that. It's the fact that the Mets were like, we want to give you the most and show you that. But according to Soto, the Mets weren't even the highest bid. We still don't know what that means or who that was. It certainly wasn't the Yankees.
So then if that's the case, what we would need to find out, to hell with the dollar signs, Jared. To hell with the dollar signs. If it's
do you believe that deal, though?
What, that they weren't the top bidder?
Yeah.
No.
I don't either.
I believe he took the most money that was presented to him.
Sure.
And I believe that he took the most,
which again is fine.
Oh, that's not a discussion. I'm not hating on him for that at all.
No.
But I do believe that the other things are big, because if you're Soto and you're listening to the Yankees tell you how great you are and how much they need you, so you're going to let a suite for my family, you're going to let that get in the way of me being this player for you? Okay, if that's how you want to do this, because in Queens, I've got a suite, my family's got flights, my family's got stipends. All right, that's what's making me comfortable as a player, because if I'm going to be here for the next 15 years, I'm committing me and my family to this place, to this environment that I am going to be the tent pole of. So here's how I'd like to be taken care of. Here's how I'd like my family to be taken care of. They're offering that. If I'm the same player to you as I am to them, are you not willing to match that? Oh, you're not. You're not. So no flights for the family, no clothes for no suite either. Oh shit. You know what, man? I'm not really feeling that respect. And if you give any credence to the story of his family being removed, and that's something that lingers, and you're like, you know what? When I think about this, do I want to encounter that over the next 15 years? Or do I want to know that I got flights, clothes, and suites taken care of for my family over the next 15 years?
The more I think about it and the more that I try to put myself in the position of a Mets fan, I would be a little like annoyed. Like, I'm super excited that you're here. I'm glad the Mets had the winning bid, but it's hard to embrace you and feel like you're ours when you still keep talking about your ex. And it's more than apparent that maybe not all of you, but certainly a part of you wishes that you were still there with the ex.
And what do you do if I don't know? It's crazy to even say this, but what do you do if 8 years from now the Mets have another window and they're not making some of the moves that you think they could make, whether it's in free agency or whatever? Do Mets fans start to point to some of these accommodations that Juan Soto is receiving and saying, well, if we weren't spending X on his flights and X on the suite and X on his fucking family's clothing allowance, maybe we could go get that starting pitcher. Maybe we could go get that bat to protect him, but we can't. But his mom's well-dressed, everybody's fed, and they can get wherever the fuck they need to in the continental U.S., so I guess we're good.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where Mets fans are going to start coming from?
Yeah. I think the big thing here that's not been mentioned so far, the Mets are in first place. What's there to be sad about? It comes off as a little selfish. What about me? What about the pitches to me? Well, you're in first place. The Yankees are too. but so are the Mets. You should be happy about that. Anyways,
Mets got their guy.
I don't think
They
Juan
sure did.
Soto regrets it. I'm on record. I don't think he has regrets.
I think he has some regrets. I don't think he regrets signing with the Mets, but I think that there's certainly part of him that's like, maybe might be. I think he second guesses himself.
Well,
I think he has an awareness for that he had it easier last season. Quote unquote, right? In his perception, with how things are going right now, it probably felt a little bit easier last season with the assortment and location of pitches that he saw than it's going right now through 17 games. That can always change, probably will change. But
does this mean that Juan Soto doesn't think Francisco Lindor is as capable of helping out the team as Aaron Judge?
He shouldn't. That's an accurate assessment. That means Juan Soto is reading the situation correctly, because Lindor is an amazing player and is going to end up in the Hall of Fame. But part of that is that he plays shortstop, and that's got nothing to do with it here.
Yeah.
What was his OPS? 200 points lower than Aaron Judge's last year? It is what it is.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm just poking.
Yeah.
Just poking.
Yeah. Well, why don't you poke on over to the Game Time app? Yeah. If you want to see these Mets, if you want to see these Yankees in New York, Game Time makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer that it gets the first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Trying to think of the next time. I might go this weekend. Jake, did you have tickets this weekend or no?
I got the Section 10 tickets on Friday.
Hell yeah, you do. Maybe I'll pop in on Friday. It's the White Sox that are in town.
It's the White Sox.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They're
Revenge series.
They're a very good team.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Smacked around.
I might pop in for one of those games this weekend because we went on opening day. I barely got to enjoy it. I was too busy rushed trying to smuggle people into Fenway. We had like a group of 500. But I like to just go sit and enjoy the game. I might go by myself. I don't know. Who are you going to the game with, Jake?
I think Steve's coming. A couple of my friends should come through.
I might do that. Maybe I'll pop in.
Is Steve not your friend? Is he like a separate category?
He's just some guy. Yeah.
Just a couple of your friends.
Steve, comma, my friends.
Yeah. But you can save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. The Game Time picks make last minute ticket buying even easier than ever by quickly highlighting the best deals in the stadium. Save even more when you choose a section. You let Game Time choose the seats for you. You toggle their all-in pricing feature, and that shows the total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. Get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. The lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry today. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the promo code BID for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, use the promo code BID for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Okay, it's time for a little tongue bath, Dallas. Tyler Soderstrom pulled up his he's one of my picks today. The TB King.
The fucking Homer
going
King.
with Tyler Soderstrom. There is a lot of red on this young man's baseball savant page. He was a first rounder in 2020, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Out of high school.
Out of the 209, cuz? Out of the 209.
Really? Wow.
That's right.
What is it? Turlock High School? What the hell is that?
That's right. Turlock, baby.
Is that the name of a town?
It's the name of his town.
How big is the 209 area code? How many people do you get to fucking claim? That's crazy.
What do you mean? It's I mean, I don't know. We're expansive. It's large.
Expansive.
Aaron Judge, also a 209er, as you guys know. But yeah.
Yeah, but he's what?
He's from Linden.
Sacramento?
Linden.
Where's
Sacramento,
Linden?
Sacramento is the 916 or the 530.
That's where Reese Hoskins from?
Correct. The Sacktown Stinger. Reese Hoskins.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell the folks at home, Dallas, about Tyler Soderstrom because he is off to a red hot start. No pun intended with the baseball savant reference. But entering play today on Wednesday, your boy Tyler Soderstrom is leading the league in homers with 8 and total bases. The TB King. You want to talk about the TB King? We might have a little bit of a fucking rivalry going on because he has 47 total bases entering play today to lead the league. He's hitting 328. He's got a 403 on base. He's slugging 734. Yeah. It's an 1137 OPS. What do we need to know about this kid? 23 years old.
You're learning about him in real time right now. Outside of what you're seeing offensively, what I want to highlight, and this is the baseball player in this young man, is he's had some fluctuation in his positional prowess, I guess you could say. Where's he going to play? Is he going to play defense? Is he going to catch? Is that something that, is he going to DH? Are we already putting a 23-year-old in a life of strictly at bats? Is there, like, how do we do this? And so decide I can play first. I'll play first. Okay, Sody, we'd love for you to play first. What's happening is he is turning himself into a pretty good first baseman. He's making outstanding plays. He's done a tremendous job just on the back end of plays, double plays, digging shit out, laying out. He's been outstanding. And what I think is truly happening is he is settling in to what he's doing defensively, and that is getting him all the more comfortable at the plate. Because I think the numbers are night and day between him playing a position and him strictly DHing. But just like for historical reference, right? The first in American League, National League history, 23 years old or younger with 3 multi-homer games in the first 17 games of the season. Now, Reggie Jackson has also done that as an athletic, but we're talking a 23-year-old power hitting left-handed first baseman or left-handed power hitter. And the adjustments are what has been remarkable as well, because this was a guy who, when he first got to the big leagues, was getting dominated by the fastball at the top of the strike zone. Absolutely dominated. Swinging and missing. There was chase up there, and he had to go back down and figure some things out. And upon return, the adjustments were obvious. He started laying off the elevated fastball. He started getting to the elevated fastball in the zone. And frankly, that just hasn't stopped. Like, his ability to get to the fastball, his ability to hit the fastball right now is fucking impressive. As far as the highest slugging percentage goes on fastballs since last year, Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, believe it or not, and then Tyler Soderstrom right behind those fellas. So 2 guys that you will see on the homer leaderboard, 2 guys that you will see on the exit velo leaderboards, 2 guys that you will see on people that are smashing fastball leaderboards. Tyler Soderstrom is right there. So his ability to make the adjustment, his ability to play defense and feed off of that offensively. He's made adjustments on the breaking balls as well. Like, it's just been a real treat to watch this dude. Scary moment last night in between innings. You know, they're throwing it around and shit. And Jacob Wilson threw a ball, low throw, and Sodi went down to get it, and it hit him like right in the palm. And like shook his hand, glove off. I fucking stood up in the booth and was like, no. He was all right. Everything was okay. But it was scary. But what he's doing, man, has been, his offense right now is enough to carry a team. I mean, career high 6 RBI last night in his 3rd multi-homer game of the season. Absolutely put the Chicago White Sox in a spin cycle. It was great.
Jayhay, I'm sure you've got some nugs cooked up.
Yeah, I mean, fourth A's player with 8 or more home runs through the first 17 games of the season in the wild card era. Crush Davis in 2019, Jack Cust 2007, and Nick Swisher in 2006. One of the things that this is, I'll get to another stat in a second, but one of the things that occurred to me as we were talking is like, I think if this is anywhere near real, between him and Lawrence Butler and Brent Rooker and Jacob Wilson, who I know that, has been joked about on this, Jay Willie, all that sort of stuff. But like to Dallas's points earlier, is like a very, very unique hitter within the modern game, really within the game historically. I think with those 4 players, you're really looking at one of the most interesting groupings of 4 offensive players that exist in Major League Baseball. And I'm not just saying that to get Dallas excited. Like, I think given how diverse those players are, I really do think that that's like a real draw to watching the current team. One other nug I was cooking up. So Soderstrom, Dallas mentioned the 47, or Jared mentioned the 47 total bases. In terms of 47 or more total bases through the first 17 games of the season. The only other player who's done that this season is Corbin Carroll, whose season is obviously impressive, and we'll get to that at some point. But the last A's player to do that is once again Chris Davis, when he hit 10 home runs in 17 games to start the 2019 season. So like some real, and not to diminish Chris Davis, because that's not what this is about. But if you look at the respective stat lines of Chris Davis and Tyler Soderstrom during those 17 games, you feel like what Tyler Soderstrom is doing has a stronger foundation to it. Like Chris Davis's on base percentage during that run was like barely over 300. And Tyler Soderstrom is running a 400 on base percentage, coming off of a year where, he was basically already at Chris Davis's career on base percentage mark last season. So like, it's very exciting. And obviously he won't slug 1100 for the full year, but if he's 100 points higher than he was last year, that's a huge development for the A's.
And for the A's fans listening to this, what's, some are categorizing it as a good problem to have. And I can appreciate that. But the problem that they have is that Nick Kurtz is down in AAA. Nick Kurtz probably just hit a homer right now as we're talking. And maybe he'll hit another one by the time I'm done running my mouth. That's how on fucking fire that dude is. And that is real. That is real. And it's also real defensively as well. They've slapped potential Gold Glover capability on him over there at first base. So what does that mean? That means you have a guy in Tyler Soderstrom who is leading the free country, the free world right now in homers and playing an outstanding defensive first base. Excuse me?
Yeah, he's not doing that, but
he's not playing an outstanding first base?
No,
he is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he is. For sure.
Okay. You say so.
And Nick Kurtz does the same thing. 2 left-handed power bats. You'd love to have that in the lineup. Where do you put him? So the versatility.
His defensive numbers are horrid.
What I'm telling you is what I watch every day based on.
I'm not saying that
throws.
Your eye is deceiving you. I'm just saying that the metrics would tell you he's not a good defender, and he has not played good defensively.
And I'm telling you that I have watched him lay out and make several outstanding plays already this year. And I've also watched him dig out many, many balls in the dirt that I watched him miss last year. That I watched him look, I don't want to say lost at first base, but trying to find his place. Where am I? What am I doing over here?
Can I put you, if you don't have an answer or can't answer or whatever, that's fine. I'd put you on the spot for a second. What are they going to do?
Well, this is where you have to try to figure out versatility from one perspective or the other. Can one of these guys play a corner outfield position one day a week? Can Tyler Soderstrom get comfortable enough maybe over at third base? I don't know. These are things that you have to entertain, but that's why I almost balk at the notion that it's a good problem to have, because I think you could almost understand if any organization was like, well, we've kind of been waiting for this guy to come around. And you know what? It hasn't happened. I know we're 2 weeks into the season, but it hasn't happened. We got a guy down in AAA that is blowing the cover off the baseball. We got to get him up here. We got to get a look. That would be so much easier done.
Sure.
That would be easier digested by the fan base, by the front office, by everybody, because you could just kind of go, you know what? Let's give Sodi a breather. Let's see what we got at Kurtz. Let's see if he can make that adjustment. Is it real enough where he just comes up to the big leagues and starts banging the baseball? Like, is that a thing? So while I understand that it could be a good problem to have, I don't know that it's necessarily the good problem that you want to have. Because Tyler Soderstrom, as Lawrence Butler has referred to him, he said he's our Babe Ruth right now. So, Jared,
so he's a murderer?
Could you imagine an organization moving on from a player like that? That'd be tough to swallow.
I don't give a fuck, dude. That guy's dead as fuck. Also, I don't know if you, speaking of like baseball savant being all red, I don't know if you've seen Jayhay, the Roman Anthony numbers.
Oh, I saw him.
Yeah.
As Mr. Roman Anthony. Yeah, I would say I was all over that stuff today. Yep. Yeah.
I mean, his red is even redder than Soderstrom's. So yeah, like what was the barrel rate? 38.7%.
Only people in Major League Baseball who had a barrel rate even higher than 20% last season were Judge and Ohtani. So
yeah, 38.7%. His average exit velocity is number one. His expected weighted on base average, number one, 100th percentile.
It's kind of crazy that both of the teams that you guys root for may very well have the best offensive forces on their teams currently in the minor leagues.
Yeah. That's why like I know people are or they were, I mean, the Red Sox won last night because we did the stream. Breggy went 5 for 5, not a big deal. But people were panicking about the Red Sox, and I'm like, I can't panic about the Red Sox until they put their best lineup on the field. They have not done that yet. Until Roman Anthony's playing every day at the big leagues and that's not working, that's when I'll be like, all right, we need to make some adjustments. But for now, like this lineup that you see right now for the Red Sox, that's not the best team that they can put on the field. So I'm still waiting for that. But I digress, Dallas. I'm excited for you getting to watch Tyler Soderstrom every day. Nick Kurtz being a guy that can come up and add to that excitement was one of the big reasons why I said that I like the A's making the playoffs. Like Kurtz was a guy like that was on my radar, obviously before Soderstrom was. So if they have two of those guys, then look out.
Well, I mean,
Sodi is Sacktown.
Sodi has a proven track record throughout the minor leagues, and it was just a matter of time before the adjustments were going to start coming on a consistent basis, where you were maybe going to get a peek at what others have seen, and you're getting that peak.
Yeah. What are you guys peeking at as it pertains to Hunter Brown?
Another dominant performance.
You liking what you're seeing or no?
I don't know. It's tough to not like what you're seeing with Hunter Brown. Mm-hmm. It's tough to, I mean, this was a guy who I was high on when he showed up. I remember having a conversation with him when he first got to the big leagues in Oakland. Just, hey, how you going? How are things? What's the adjustment period like for you? What are you, because command was an issue, right? Just spraying the baseball, not being able to fill up the strike zone consistently, deep counts, shit like that. And I think what you're starting to see is a guy who, when you hone your cone, when you hone the zone, you start to whittle away at your misses and things start to look a little better. You're a little more competitive, a little more consistently. Now you start to see some of the fruit, because this dude, it's real, man. It is real.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically a co-ace situation with Framber. I mean, I know Framber was bad in his last start, but putting that aside, we all know he's very good. But I mean, that's kind of where he's ascended to at this point. I mean, if you look at since the start of last season, and I know that was, inconsistent in its own right, but if you just look at that, we're talking about 194 innings of a 3.25 ERA. That's ace level stuff. Like that's frontline, whether you want to call that a true one or a 2 and a number 1 on a lot of teams. Like that's kind of what he is at this point.
Look at his whip. Look at his whip this year. This year compared to the 2 seasons previous. And again, I know it's early. What, 4 starts under his belt? But that's my point is this is a dude who he's just in the zone more. He's around the zone more. There's less traffic on the base path. And because of his dominant stuff, you're starting to see the flashes of brilliance that I think are going to start to come more consistently.
Batters are hitting 077 on his 4-seamer this season. Of the 75 pitchers who have thrown at least 100 4-seamers this year, that is the second lowest mark in Major League Baseball. So you want to guess, oddly enough, who has the highest batting average off their 4-seamer among those pitchers?
Wait, who has allowed the highest batting average on a 4-seamer?
Yep. Minimum 100 thrown this year.
Is it a good, Justin Verlander?
No, it is a very good pitcher. Yeah. It might be a reigning award winner, actually.
Scooble.
Skeens?
Sale. Batters are hitting 524 off of his 4-seamer.
What the hell?
Good Lord.
Yeah. Obviously, fun with small sample size. He's thrown 130 of them. But that's real bad.
Yeah, that's not what you want.
Not great. Yeah, but I mean, for Hunter Brown, everything else is like, even outside of the fastball, they're hitting 125 on the curveball. They're hitting 100 against the changeup. The mix is there.
Yeah, getting more swings on pitches out of the zone too. I mean, it's the incremental improvements seem like they're his walk rate is down meaningfully if he can keep that down. Like so, he's made those adjustments each and every season. From being bad to very good to possibly being great. So awesome development for them.
His only pitch that's getting touched is his cutter.
Yeah, which he throws 5-6% of the time. So who
minimal
cares?
Time. Yeah. And just again, like this is something that I always kind of focus on the conversion of the 1-1s, because that's like early on when I'm assessing a young pitcher, how many strikes are we throwing early? Are we competitive around the zone? Right. Just are you competitive? From there, once we've moved past that layer of throwing strikes early, are you converting the 1-1? Are you putting yourself in a leverage spot to finish the at-bat? That is the most important count in baseball. What are we doing there? And there has been progress there as well. You go back to last year, 58% conversion rate on the 1-1 count for Hunter Brown. So far this season, 67%. League average is 56%. So you're winning the 1-1 counts. That is a huge factor in your success. Huge. Can't be overstated.
It sounds like hitters could use some better help against Hunter Brown.
Probably.
Which is great because Baseball is Dead is actually sponsored by BetterHelp. Yeah. Let's talk numbers. Traditional in-person therapy can cost anywhere from $100 to $250 per session, which adds up fast. But with BetterHelp Online Therapy, you can save on average up to 50% per session. With BetterHelp, you pay a flat fee for weekly sessions, saving you big on cost and time. Therapy should feel accessible, not like a luxury. With online therapy, you can get quality care at a price that makes sense and can help you with anything from anxiety to everyday stress. Your mental health is worth it, and now it's within reach. I had therapy yesterday. Perfect timing. It was right after we had a company meeting, and we had a lot of discussing to do. And then the second that I got the link sent to me, hey, time for your online therapy, was when they were like, all right, let's talk about Slab Lab. And I hit that exit button so fast. Couldn't have left the meeting faster. And then went to my online therapy session.
It's unfortunate.
Well, I have nothing to do with Slab Lab. So it was perfect timing.
Your support's
Emotional support.
and it's
I promote the shit out of that thing.
It's that support. It's that support. I mean, you did, and it was appreciated.
You saying I don't anymore?
We're happy about. I mean, I haven't seen a retweet. I'm not complaining. It's not my.
I'm an Instagram visual reposter. I'm a story guy. Yeah. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. It's convenient too. You can join a session with the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life, plus switch therapists at any time. Your well-being is worth it. Visit betterhelp.com/baseball, and that'll get you 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/baseball. Alrighty. Are there any other stories? I know that there's a couple other stories that were on the docket here. The Cubs beat the Padres. That's their first loss at home. The Cubs demoted Matt Shaw. That's a big story. Their top prospect had a disappointing start to the year. Spencer Strider is debuting today. What time is the Braves game?
I think it's by the time the podcast is out, right? That's an early game. I think. That's the first game of the day. Yeah.
It's an early game. It's an early game.
So that game is a 1:07 Eastern start. So we'll be able to hop off this and go right into Spencer Strider, which would be
that's awesome, by the way.
Yes, that's great. Before you jump on anything else, I just want to put a bow on because I was so emphatic about the 1-1 count stuff.
The 1-1 split?
Yeah. Not the 1-1 split. I don't have the number. I think you just probably throw a 0 up next to the 1-1 split rate, right? I mean, that's what the numbers are. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. But for our man downtown Hunter Brown, you want to take a guess at what opponents are hitting against him in a 2-1 count? This is between 2024 and as of this point right now. Just so you understand how important this shit is. All right. Between last year and the early run in this year, in a 2-1 count, opponents are hitting 310 against Hunter Brown. 310. In a 1-2 count, 099. 099. Just a little insight as to why it's important. We're talking about a 200-point difference in batting average alone in that count. Win the 1-1, win the at-bat. Win the at-bat, win the inning. Win the inning, win the innings. Win the innings, win the game. Win the games, you know how this goes.
Did you pick Houston to make the playoffs this year? No.
Yes, I did. I believe they're one of the.
I have them.
There you go. Someone had to.
Yeah, but that's all I got there. That's all.
Any thoughts on the Matt Shaw demotion?
Yeah, it's tough early, but I think, look, man, it's not the end of the world, right? You just you come up and the game speed, I think, is something that we'll get to, guys. And when I say expose, I don't mean expose like you don't belong here. I just mean it's an adjustment that it's almost like aliens, you know? Oh, I've heard about it. I'm sure it is, but like until I can touch one, will I believe it? Well, the speed of the game is the alien. And so when you get to the big leagues and you're introduced to the alien, to the speed of the game, you're like, fuck, it's real. I heard it was real. I knew it was real. Damn, that's real. And it's just that like shock to the system that you're going to have to go back down and adjust to. And that's where you have to go test yourself, is the things that you were able to do and sort of be lazy in with your approach in terms of maybe hunting a pitch or a location because of what you know is not coming. The big leagues, there's finish, there's bite. The speed is just different. But I don't know that, I mean, probably a good thing that the Cubs are in the spot they are and are able to assess Mr. Bush's lackluster performance so far and send him down. Because if they were heavily reliant upon him and he was going to be a massive part of their success right now, we're having a different conversation.
Well, and you know, in terms of it not being the end of the story, we're also talking about a guy with 159 career games and short of 700 plate appearances in the minor leagues. So the idea that I know he's 23, so he's not like 19 or 20, but the idea that he could use a little bit more seasoning is not totally crazy.
Still a baby.
Yeah. And, the numbers suggested that this is a guy who could use a restart. Like his traditional numbers stunk, but all of the underlying numbers weren't good either. He was among the worst producers against fastballs in baseball. So if you're just looking for a very straightforward, like, hey, yeah, a lot of young players struggle against off-speed pitchers, sure, but like if you're not hitting the fastball, then that's probably something that needs kind of a reconfiguration or just a mental break.
Happened with Soderstrom. We were just talking about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exposed with.
I don't know if you know this, Dallas, but question for you as a baseball fan that doesn't see the behind the scenes stuff. Because these are all new numbers, we just kind of got this very recently. If a guy's bat speed stinks, what do you do?
Oh, well, you need to, we can't just start and stop there. You can't start and stop there because Luis Arraez, slowest bat in baseball. This is a guy who annually we're talking about hitting 400, right? I mean, that's how it's been the last few years. So I put little stock in bat speed, but when you start to identify who this player is and what you're expecting from this player, now it starts to matter, right? So Luis Arraez, are we okay with him swinging the bat 65 miles an hour? Probably, because of the barrel rate and because of what he provides. But if I'm looking towards somebody to provide some power and provide consistent power, I need them getting to the baseball aggressively, right? And that's where that's going to start to factor in. So swing length is something that you also start to pay attention to. How long is the barrel of this individual in the zone, right? How long are they in the hitting zone? So those are the things that matter. So swing speed is what it is. Remember, a fast swing is 75 miles an hour or greater. And there's guys who have success swinging nowhere near that speed. But I think if you're going to be somebody who powers the baseball consistently, and that's going to be a part of your profile, then you're probably better served to live in the neighborhood of an average swing speed, fast swing speed, 73 to 75 plus. Because that's when we really start, hard hit rate and exit velo, those things start to correlate. But as far as a slow bat, it really, for me, it's all about the player profile.
Yeah. Well, and it's about context too. Like, what were they doing beforehand, right? If you're down 2 miles an hour, like that in bat speed, like, the most compelling use of bat speed that I have seen, or fast swing rate, or the combination that I've seen so far this season, has been for Devers. Like, and the idea that you were dealing with something that's not a 100% healthy shoulder or something that's going on, because you have a guy who's gone from the 68th percentile in bat speed to 45th. And the fast swing rate has been cut in half from where it was 2 years ago. So like, do you care that his bat speed is in the 45th percentile? Yeah, actually, you probably do, at least until it proves to be something of a fluke. But that isn't, to me, a stat that is going to be super fluky over a 20-game sample unless there's really something there. Like, your bat speed kind of is your bat speed.
Well, and again, just to add context to this, think about Aaron Judge, right? The guy swings 76 miles an hour, 77 miles an hour from the last time I checked. Somewhere in between there is his average bat speed. Squared up rate for Aaron Judge, 27%. That's pretty good. That's really, really good when you think about how hard he's swinging the bat and how frequently he squares up the baseball per swing. Okay, now let's take you to Arraez. The slowest swing in baseball, 62, 63%. And his barrel rate, or his squared up rate, almost 50%, 48%. Jacob Wilson, second slowest bat in baseball at 63 miles an hour. His squared up rate, almost 40%. It's 38.6, so 39%. Justin Turner, 64%, or 64 mile an hour swing, 23% squared up rate. So who are those players compared to the Aaron Judges, right? Compared to the Yordan Alvarez's? Yordan Alvarez swings about 77 miles an hour. Squared up rate, 21%, 21.5%, 22%. So you can already see the difference in production and why it is so important to contextualize the player and the profile.
Makes sense. Yeah, because Matt Shaw is not squaring up the baseball at a very high rate. He's not hitting the ball hard at all, and he's not barreling the ball very much either. Yeah. So it's just a lot of things that, those things need to be corrected. Okay. All right, we're gonna go watch the Braves, see the return of Spencer Strider. Nice little 1:00 baseball on a Wednesday. We're back tomorrow. Very excited because not only are we back tomorrow, but so is Family Feud. Oh yeah, Family Feud's back tomorrow. That's going to be exciting. Very excited for Family Feud. But before we get out of here, Jayhay, do you have any nugs to take us out of Wednesday?
I do. Strider, the main attraction today. Matthew Boyd also on the bumpy, though. 2.11 ERA going back to the start of last regular season across 68 and a third innings pitched. So, again, we talked about Justin Steele earlier in the week and that loss and how that void's going to be filled. And maybe that void is filled by Boyd.
Hello.
Luis Arraez, first player in terms of random stats, first player in 30 years to have at least 2 homers, 2 stolen bases, 2 walks, but no more than 1 strikeout through his first 17 games. The last to do so was maybe the first baseball player I liked, Carlos Baerga in 1995.
Yeah.
And as I always like to do, I'd like to end on a White Sox note.
Yes, of course.
Yes, their current season win percentage dropped down to, I believe they're 4-12 now. And they are the first team since the Washington Senators in 03-04 to be outscored by 50-plus runs through their first 16 games of the season in consecutive seasons.
Wait, what?
So
like 1903?
1903 to 1904 Washington Senators. Yeah.
I was going to say in 04 they were the Nats.
Yeah, no.
Was 04 the first year of the Nats or 05? We still had the Expos in 04. We still had the Expos in 04. We did. 05 was the first year.
Did you just confirm that?
In my brain, yes, because the Red Sox traded
you're right. Look at you.
Orlando Cabrera, who was an Expo.
Yep.
Yeah.
They finished 81-81 is their first year as the Washington Nationals, and they were last in the NL East. That's tough, man. That's tough business. Division. It's going to be like the AL East this year.
Whoa.
Yeah. And just a quick note, I know there was some optimism that, from the front office for the White Sox that they were going to win more games than last year. I am here to tell you, to set the alarm bells off early, that if we're going by current pace, they are actually pacing below last year.
Oh, God, a half game, Jayhay. Is that right? Is that what I saw?
Well, they had a 253 winning percentage last year, and they're at 250 right now. So
not good. Not great.
They have a lot of, we're 10% done the season, right? So they have a lot of time left, but that's also a lot of time to lose baseball games.
Well, that fucking green and gold machine is in the house for the next 2 days, bud, and shit ain't looking swell for him. Tell you that right now.
So the Sultan of Sode,
the Sultan of Sode, Sody Pop himself.
Wow.
Strami.
Oh, so good, Jared. That's what you do to the White Sox, Jared. What you saw last night, that's what you do to the White Sox.
The White Sox have half their wins this season have come against the Red Sox.
Tough. You guys are going to exact some real revenge this weekend, though, with Yazzie in the seats.
Yeah,
I feel like that's coming. Yeah. If Jake's there on a Friday night, those vibes are they're unmatched. Yeah. I might pop in. What did Eamon say? Eamon's going with his father?
Yeah, Eamon with his dad. We got 4. Can always add you in.
And then Roman Anthony is getting called up probably on Sunday, right?
Some people are saying Friday.
Okay. Well, I know
that's not
April
scoop shot.
20th.
No one quote me on that. I'm just saying people in my mentions when I tweeted out the graphic of his Savant page that people were like, got to call him up for Friday.
That's going to be big. Jake, can you talk to the producer of Section 10 and have somebody on that staff clip off where I said he would be up by April, whatever it was from the live show? That would be awesome to have when he gets called up. So I can point at myself and be like, look who was right.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can get a hold of him.
Thank you so much.
Dallas knows him.
I do.
Yeah, you guys do a Red Sox pod together, right?
Yeah,
we do.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's a good listen. Yeah, I get a lot of information from that podcast. But all right, Dallas, any final thoughts today?
Final thoughts. Yeah. Hey, just come on over here. Your final thoughts. You just stand right here.
All right, love to.
That fucking guy.
There he is.
That fucking
There he
guy.
is.
Well, let me tell you about this fucking guy. This guy's name is Johnny Dasco.
Yeah,
And
he's
this
a
son
legend.
of a bitch. This son of a bitch just won the bet. He won it's early, but I think he won the bet. I have been battling. We have been vying for foul balls in the press box for the last 3 years. And this son of a bitch yesterday made a two-handed, barehanded, no look catch in the fucking radio booth. The son of a bitch. It took everything in my power. I saw the ball track up and whatever, it's not coming to me, so I don't care. And then the crowd erupts. I pop up, I look over, and this son, he's wearing Chris Carey as a backpack because Chris is jumping all over him. Yeah, yeah. And then they both, he just goes into this. I was happy for him in the moment. I hope he loses the ball. There's a solid chance he'll lose the ball on the road.
On right here?
Yeah, that's on.
Every fucking day, I'm going to remind this guy that I caught. I have this on you every day for life. Every fucking day, I'm going to talk about it. I want you guys to talk about it every day too. It's
We
over,
will.
bro. I got you. I won.
We
this
will.
one. Over.
It's incredible.
That's my life. That's my life.
It's incredible.
But you know
He
what?
deserves it.
If it was
He
gonna happen
deserves
to me, I'm glad it happened to a man who is in how many? Three Hall of Fames? He's in 3 Hall of Fames, this fucking guy. This
Same
is the
as
dude
Ted Williams.
when we walked into the Bobblehead Hall of Fame, Bob Uecker, Vin Scully, and that face right there, that one. They intentionally put that, but he had a bobble nose.
Bobble nose.
Odd, weird, right? Weird. Look
The
at that
bobble
thing.
nose,
Look at that
man.
thing.
The
Give him
bobble
a
like
side
that.
shot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like a door
serious
stop. It's like a
reverb
door
there.
stop.
Yeah. Yeah, bobble nose. 3-time Hall of Famer, this fucking guy.
Love that.
Johnny
What are
Dasco.
what are the other Hall of Fames? What are the other two?
The other Hall of Fame is he's in the Saskatchewan Hall of Fame. He's in the he's in the Sacramento Hall of Fame, and he's going into the Cedar Rapids Hall of Fame, and he's also in the Bobblehead Hall of Fame.
Okay. Why am I not in the Saugus Hall of Fame now that we're on the topic?
Yeah, it's it's
I
like,
mean, if
what do you-
anyone deserves,
Is there a Saugus Hall of Fame?
let's build one.
That's why you're not in the Hall of Fame, because there is no Saugus Hall of Fame.
Mystery solved.
I mean, if they built a Saugus Hall of Fame and had an inaugural class of just me and Andy Wong, like, what are we doing here? Why are we not crazy?
They would hold that at why don't we just get the loon to pop up a fucking back room somewhere? We'll call that the Saugus Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think they absolutely should do that. But Andy is too gracious. He wouldn't accept, his nomination or his induction into the Saugus Hall of Fame if it was in the Kowloon. He'd be like, that's too self-serving, and he would never.
We would surprise Andy with a special dinner or something. I'd let him know that I'd be there to eat with him. He'd be excited about that.
Yeah.
We'd probably bring in one of his wrestlers. They could give it to him. Like, I think that we got a whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm seeing Wade Boggs as also born in Saugus.
No, he lived in Saugus when he played here, but he's not from Saugus. He lived in Saugus for a little bit when he played for the Red Sox.
He's bathed in the water, not the blood.
Yeah.
You're right. He was born in Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah, we have
Omaha.
Sandra White, who was an Olympian. I think that's it.
Wait, Don Cherry? No,
We have,
why are these people being listed as Saugus?
I don't know. There's a lot of stolen valor on the notable
from
Saugus
Ontario.
people. Yeah, so Eddie Palladino, who's the voice of the Celtics for, time out Celtics basketball. Like he's from
dude.
Saugus. Yeah, I graduated with his daughter And for senior prom, he announced all of us coming out on stage before we went to senior prom as a highlight of my life. One of the highlights of my life.
That's fantastic.
This page sucks.
There's not. It's basically just me, Andy, and I would put Eddie in there too.
Wait, this guy died in Saugus, but the guy who invented the first escalator died in Saugus
on an escalator.
An escalator. Escalator can never be broken.
Poetic if that's how he died.
They just can only become stairs.
It can only become
rest in
stairs.
peace.
Yeah. Sorry,
Mitch Hedberg,
for the convenience.
Yeah. Yeah. The list of people from Saugus, Massachusetts on Wikipedia is so underwhelming.
Needs some oversight. Well, and it's wrong too. It appears.
Yeah. I'm not even on here.
No, I don't see anything about you.
We got something to do. Yeah, we got homework to do. There it is.
There is no one. Oh, Eddie Palladino is here. Public address announcer for the Boston Celtics. He's on here. No one has made a greater impact on the town of Saugus than me. And I think it's crazy that I'm not here.
This guy was born in Richmond, Virginia, and was a Methodist clergyman, and he's on this page. You're not here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Got to get
Donald
right.
Wong. Donald Wong is on this list.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, this sucks.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, I'm on the list of people who need to go eat breakfast before I go to the baseball field. So,
all right.
You don't want to keep remembering people who aren't from Saugus?
Yeah.
I'm from Saugus.
I love the trip down. You're not from Saugus memory lane, but we're,
All right. Shout out Don Wong.
Yeah. Shout him out. Saugus Hall of Fame coming to a Kowloon near you, and we'll see you tomorrow for some more Baseball is Dead.
Wow.